Hello and welcome to Raging Recaps. I'm DM Dan or Red Helm in Waterdeep. Tonight joined by Jez or Ren. We'll be discussing the last couple of weeks a little bit of our sessions, what's been happening. But before we dive into that, let's talk about a few of our announcements. Don't forget, guys, at 150 followers, we will be doing a giveaway. We're 41 followers away, I believe, until the giveaway goes live. So be sure to smash that follow button that'll also notify you when we go live. Also, we have a merch store with some pretty cool merch in it. I myself got the Raging shirt. I don't know if that's going to show up.
Yeah.
Is it going blurry?
No, if you can see your phone.
Back. It is fantastic. It's the only shirt I ever wear now when playing D&D.
Rightly so.
Yeah, it's the only way you can do it, in style. And Jez, you want to talk a bit about Beyond Blue?
Yes, thanks, Dan. So we are really pushing, supporting Beyond Blue. We do it all the time, but especially so in October. It's no surprise that we're in a pretty crappy time around the world right now. All year 2020 is the year of natural ones, and if you do need support, feeling a bit down or feeling things that you don't normally do, Beyond Blue are there to support. You can reach them at beyondblue.org.au, and if you can support them, please head there as well. You'll find ways to do so, or we have ways to do so right here, right, Dan?
That's right, we do. When I can figure out what the prompt was for is it fundraise? Fundraise? Is that how we do it?
Sponsors?
No.
We're trying to raise.
I'm trying to do the prompt for our GoFundMe. Is that what you meant? No. We also. I don't know. I just work here, okay? But yes, for our October fundraiser, we've had some fantastic sponsors, both past and present, join in on our initiative with our Nat 20s, Nat 1s. So whenever us or the DM rolled a Nat 20, they donated $20. And whenever we roll a Nat 1, we donate $20 instead. So far, we've got the likes, we have Geekdom, who's donated for our Nat 20s, Unseen Servant, the Wickencraft Guildmaster, and Macintosh 3D Prints have all contributed towards that, as well as we've partnered with Miniature Hub to do a silent auction. What is it? 2 sets of dice, a dice tray, DM screen, and 2 of those little booster boxes. Yeah, awesome. It looks awesome. It's like, and that's been taken off as well. Like, get on that. Do we have the link to share in the chat?
I do. I just have Rage Auction.
Oh, there we go. Way ahead of me. But yeah, so be sure to check that out and donate. All the money that we raise for this month, 100% of it will be going to Beyond Blue. So really get on board, guys. Donate what you can. It's for a fantastic cause, especially during these times. Like, having that little bit of extra support as well means commit everything to someone. So. Yeah.
Yeah. But with that, I mean, what a last couple of weeks we've had. It's been
I know.
A couple of weeks into being able to recap and discuss a few things. But
yeah. 3 sessions fighting Zolgold or Zergold or Volgold or whatever his in continuity name actually ended up being.
So when we first discovered this guy's name was Zorgulg, Zorgulg. It quickly became Zorgog, Gorgog, anything but the guy's real name, which it's all great. When I first discovered this guy's name, I know DM Doom was like, "Oh, let's see what the random name generator can give us today," and out came our friend Zorgog, which is how we got there.
Fantastic. But yeah, so Zorgog is the big bad from your past who murdered your mentor, I believe, and you kind of trying to find out answers, and then hey, he just turned up in the city because we created a power vacuum.
Let's just go back to how that happened, right? Because it was a strange turn of events that had us, hearing whispers. No, we headed down to the docks to try and find the clues to the next next Eye of Galore, and
Yeah.
just out of the blue, ambushed by an army of orcs, which
Yeah.
caused sexy fireball, and all that fantastic action can be found back on our YouTube, which is just there now. And
Great. Still. Yep. Yep.
then at the same time as this big, I guess, more important orc turned into a black cloud of nothing and ascended to the sky to try and take on the city, we were... What's Dave's terminology? The Zim train? Or something?
Zim train, yeah.
Yeah. We were taking the Zim train
yeah.
out of there via like this the tree train, the giant tree
Yeah.
that came and took us away to the forest.
Yeah. That was really weird. Like, and that didn't end up so good for the people that we were trying to get somewhere safe. They became mulch.
How does Red feel about that, having spent all this time and effort and is emotionally invested in saving this random guy?
He is pissed. He's really not happy with Zim, but he's trying to keep his cool, not lose his head, because he still knows the party has to do a thing. And when there's a bit of quiet, there's still shit that needs to be done. When there's a bit of quiet and stuff, he might, have a word with Zim.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Because... Yeah, but we'll get into that because there's a certain point from last week's stream as well that I want to bring up, but that happened later after our encounter. So,
right.
So taking the tree train, and then that Emerald Enclave goddess, whatever, then sent us to where Zorgolg was, and he tried to tempt each and every one of us. And then we were like, no, fuck you, and just started laying into him.
I was actually surprised that none of our characters responded in a favourable way to him, were lured into his trap. We all, players, we all saw what it was, but yeah.
Yeah. Red Helm almost did because he thought it was his god, and then very quickly realised it wasn't. And he's like, "Hey, hang on a minute, you're not my god."
Wrong, big bad guy.
Yeah, but he
interesting.
I know, right? It's like that could have gone quite poorly, but I think we might not be the best people, but we're like not the worst either. We're not going to like betray each other too much.
This is true. But
yeah,
interesting that we all refused his temptation, and I guess quite aggressively decided to charge this guy. I'm pretty sure that backfired on us, right?
Oh yeah. That as soon as we started attacking, nothing was hitting him. Nothing was gonna hit. Was like getting through this like shield that he had around him, which sucked because like for an entire round, nothing happened. He took no damage, and then Claymore followed, and then me were like, let's try what we're good at, the radiant shit, like the Paladin Cleric. Let's try that, which seemed to like get holes, but on each of his turn, all that happened was the shields would reform, and we'd have to just do the same thing again, which was very frustrating, which played really well into the other battle that was going on with the Super Ultra Mega Dragonsword in the city, where that was awesome. Like, us being able to Jaeger the stone sentinels that were placed around Waterdeep, fight the giant big version of Zorgolg, and then DM with the Rule of Cool being like, well, when I was like, can we form together into like a giant mech? And he's like, if you can figure out a way, which we did. And then having that battle then have repercussions for what was going on in our battle as well, which thankfully led to the shield coming down.
It was a really cool twist, I thought. We talked about it a little bit in the after show, after the session where it happened. But intertwining of those two different battles and panning from one to the other, and yes, the mech coming together in such style with, I think it was a house for a body, a snake for a leg, a bunch of scales for another leg. It was a complete cluster of a creature, but geez, it was good fun. And seeing that then pan back and forth between our battle with Zorgog and the battle over the city was really cool.
Yeah. And then we finally got the shield down, and that's when shit went sideways.
We got the shield down. Hang on. No. Wait, shit went sideways before that, didn't it? The shield came down.
Well, we had the giant skeleton dude, but he didn't seem too much of an issue because Bear was like, you know, like a dog with a bone. Choppy.
Yeah, just hack the bone.
He was like... And then the shield came down, and then something was going on with Ren. Because first Claymore's soul got sucked out.
Yep, that's right.
And then Ren's did.
Yep. But yeah, Ren's soul was completely... I know Zorgog was definitely, it seemed hell-bent on trying to capture Ren. Didn't seem too fussed about other people there, but was really keen on just ending the story with Ren. Which he almost did, right? He captured Ren's soul, where she ended up inside this, I guess, spiritual prison with a bunch of other souls this guy had captured. And one thing that I in hindsight think I should have done, I wasn't sure if Caleb was supposed to be in the same space or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, because he was out as well, but he must have just like formed into, what was it described, like an ocean?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like an ocean, you were like on an embankment sort of thing. And my understanding was that the ocean was all the souls that Zorgog had feasted on. And they were like, that was my interpretation of what Robin was saying. My character wasn't there, so I don't know.
Sounds pretty close.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But yeah, then for Ren to meet the soul of her mentor, Grimoire, you know, I guess put a bow in that kind of arc of her story, knowing where he went, and to summon all the souls there to break free of this prison. That was such an epic way to break free, with summoning souls to an arrowhead and just shooting out. It just reminded me of like the second Hunger Games, right? You're shooting the arrow out of the arena, as it were. Yeah. Which brought Ren back to life, which was great, and Clay back to life straight away. Yeah, no,
that was good, because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen now, because if you're dead, I can't bring you back because I use my diamonds for people who have been turned into mulch. So awesome.
Oh, those diamonds.
Like, what was it like for Ren, like, seeing her mentor, like, finally, you know, getting that chance to have, like, that goodbye that she never got to have?
I think it was... gave a sense of closure, having known where this guy went, but also a whole lot of anger and frustration now seeing that he had been killed. Or properly killed. Hang on a second, let me back up a second. He was already dead. I have to remember my own backstory.
That helps. That can help. Yeah.
No, I think a sense of closure, but yes, frustration knowing that he wasn't properly at peace, that he was still a prisoner, even though he'd been killed. That's bad enough, but then his soul was in prison. That's pretty average. So still some more vengeance to exact.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy about it. She was happy to see him, but not happy that he was there.
Yeah. But essentially, like, freeing the souls with the bow, I'm going to call it a soul bow, because that sounds cool. The soul bow.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Seemed to significantly damage Zorgog, Gorgog, Zordon.
Z-Man.
And essentially, like, freed those souls and did so much damage to him that we were then able to attempt to have a round combat, but that didn't exactly go according to plan.
No, Zorgog was still being a dick about things, right? He just was smirking, way too arrogant and cocky, and not attacking back, taking the damage, letting these skeleton creatures he'd spawned to try and attack us. So that was still happening in the background. But himself, talking himself up a lot. In the last 2 sessions, he did 0 attack damage to any of us. But he talked up a big game. But we ended up getting him down, right? Or so we thought.
Yeah, you did, apparently, with an arrow.
Yeah.
Which then led to a wisdom save, and then he disappeared.
Yes, it was a bit of a... What?
Yeah.
And?
Something kinky just happened. We were just like, okay.
But the fact that he didn't just disappear, he disappeared into the black smoke again, the same black smoke that was over the city, and I guess that connected those 2 battles really nicely.
Yeah.
The smoke in the city had gone. The smoke appeared where we were, around Ren, and then seemed to disappear into Ren, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad's going to happen with that.
Yeah, this is fine. Ren feels fine, absolutely fine, top of the world.
Yeah, and, it wasn't like it wasn't noticed by members of the party. I mean...
Claymore was pissed.
Oh yeah, well he used Divine Sense almost straight away, because he's like, that seemed a little bit too easy. So he used Divine Sense, and lo and behold, Ren's evil.
Emanating so much evil juice, but not having any awareness of it.
Yeah.
What did you think of the conversation and predicament around, Claymore sensing and knowing that there's some evil shit going down, Ren not having a bar of it? What was Red thinking at that point?
He was just like, wait. I know I have a spell that I don't use, because I have a lot of spells that are like utility spells that I always have prepared, but I just don't use them. So I was like, how do I calmly try to diffuse this situation? Because I could tell that Ren, like, you were getting, your backup. You were getting antsy because Claymore's like approaching you with a rope in hand. Like, let me just tie you up. Let me just tie you up. You're just like, no.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, like I said, Ren had an arrow knocked and was, probably not going to shoot him with an arrow, but was going to club him somehow if he got any more ideas about it.
Yeah. So that's why I did the protection from good and evil to see if that would help with anything, and it did nothing. And I was like, shit, there's something bigger than what I've got is going on. Yeah. But managed to calm down enough that we didn't end up all fighting each other.
Yes, it was very close to that, I think. It could have been very gangster, everyone standing around pulling weapons at each other.
Yeah.
Luckily avoided.
We haven't got there yet. We've been very close, but we haven't got there yet.
Yeah. So close. Now, hang on.
Then...
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. You go.
Red, as a character, is normally very, very keen to go and loot everything, like be the first to the corpse and raid. Yes?
Yep. He very much is, but...
Not so with Zorgol?
He's got a bit going on. He's not exactly in his right frame of mind.
Right.
With, what happened, like trying to, like with what happened with the family, tried to bring all 3 of them back, was only able to bring back 2, prayed out to his god, and his god was like, nah. And then having the fruits of his efforts pretty much be turned into plant mulch. So he's like, he's not exactly feeling himself. He's like trying to figure out where exactly his place fits into this crazy fucking world. Because like before he joined with the party back in Baldur's Gate, he was a vigilante dealing with bandits and thugs and shit like that. And then all of a sudden there's there's gods, there's demons, there's orcs everywhere, there's a fucking Xanathar, there's all this shit going on, and he's like realizing that, things are a lot more complicated than he thought they were. Not everything is black and white.
Yeah. So I didn't dive on the pile of bones to try and see what loot was there because he was so preoccupied with things.
He's not thinking of that. I think also his current fascination is with that red orb that he got from the Xanathar's entrails.
Oh yeah, we don't know what that is, do we?
He doesn't know what it is, no. And when he asked Zim what it was, Zim couldn't tell him, but Zim wanted to hold on to it, and like a little bit of his the dragonness of his deity came through, and Red was getting really defensive. Like, no, that's mine. I'll hold on to it. But so it wasn't Red this time who got in first. It was our little gnome friend Zim.
Yeah, I think Ren jumped in and like raided the corpse, but had no use for a wand or a gem.
Yeah.
So I tossed him to our wizard friend, who thought, she thought that he might have the best use for him.
How'd that go?
Well, not as expected. We haven't seen this gem and a wand. Stick in a rock, I think we called it.
Yep, stick in a rock. Yep,
stick in a rock. I did love the DM's explanation of what happened to the gem as
disgusting.
As Zim was holding it, it kind of opened the wound in his hand. And the fact that he had a choice whether to drop the stone or hold on to it, and Dave rolled to see what his character would do. Just like, well, let fate decide. Fate told him to hold on to it, which caused the gem to embed itself in his hand.
Disgusting.
Just the way it was described and outlined, and just the visual of that was just awesome. And now just thinking of Zim, this tiny little guy rocking around with this powerful stone in his hand.
Yeah. That's going to end perfectly for everyone, I think.
It just came straight out of some kind of demon type thing. Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, and it's not going to be an issue.
No, this is fine.
Sorry, we just chop off his hand.
Yeah, too easy. I'm sure the stone will give the hand up. No worries.
Oh yeah, totally. We just got a full-on hand of Vecna thing going on. This is going to be fine.
I think it was, and then for everyone to. So we had the stone, we had the wand, we had no spell slots left, and some damaged HP from battling the skeletons and whatnot. It was time for a rest.
Yeah, we had to trek it back all the way back through the woods, through the city.
And what did we encounter when we were stumbling through the city? So much
destruction. Just total and utter destruction. And like, how did Ren, I know how Red felt. How did Ren feel seeing all of that? And was she too more focused on what had just happened, or like?
I think she was just too distracted with what had just happened. That was top of mind. Having encountered Grimmer again, having encountered Zorgog, being soul extracted, everything that had just happened was a big deal, and the carnage on the side of the streets, she wasn't even aware of really what was going on. She was just looking at her feet, processing things. From a player point of view, and I did love when we were having the mech fight over the city, that every time he said, we were saying stuff like poison spray or fire. Robin's like, there's a whole city of civilians underneath you. You sure you want to do that?
Well, we were a robot, so we don't care. So.
I mean, the massive manga things don't care about stuff like that, so it's fine. The city's evacuated. It's fine.
Exactly. We've all seen Transformers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was, and then like that sense of wanting, I know some of us wanted to help people, but we had nothing we could do.
No, we were tapped.
We had no healing, no nothing. Like all we could do is rest, so that then we could probably potentially do something the next day. And I think the plan was, have a rest, get up, and go to a temple to find out what was going on with you and what was going on with Zim. And then as we went to bed, someone had you had an odd dream.
I had an odd dream. So Ren had a dream about, I think it was celestial sort of beings, sort of glowing with light and good, that were then, I guess, consumed by evil, death, and dark. When I was hearing this being told, I was like, oh, one of the celestial people has a bow in their hand. I'm like, that's got to be the most powerful bow. Give it to me in dream state. I want it to be real. And then it just turned to dust and evil, which wasn't a good sign, especially since Ren, being an elf, doesn't sleep. She just goes into a trance type state. So
Yeah.
that required some further thought and discussion with people in the morning, which led us towards, I think we were trying to head to a temple, right? But the whole city was in ruin.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were like, how's this going to work out? Like, as we go through the city, we don't want to go to like one of the big temples and stuff. We'll go to the one that we were already going to go to, because we were going to go head down to the docks as well. So we decided to go to the Temple of Plinth, which is like a multi-deity worship, like, centers thing. It's like the Westfields of temples. Like a little shop there for like Tor, one for Bahamut, one for Zariel.
Love
all
it.
this stuff, all these different little things. Probably not Zariel, because she's actually a devil. But yeah, so we ended up walking down there, and I'm like all I'm thinking to myself is like, this place is going to be in utter shambles as well. It's going to be like a makeshift like triage hospital thing, kind of like a COVID clinics type of thing. Just
Yes.
hastily put together of people, just and then all of a sudden, like, I was in the lead, and I was like the party face for a hot second, and I wasn't prepared, and I'm like, oh, what would Red do? And I'm like, offer to heal in exchange for something, because hey, so he was said about healing the person at the nun, I think she was a nun or a priestess, was helping whilst she talked to you guys.
Yeah.
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like, well, she didn't, from what I heard of the conversation, was that, she didn't know too much. It was more getting that in to be able to speak to someone higher up.
But did we end up speaking to someone higher up? I don't think we did. I think we just kept on harassing her.
Oh, you guys did for a bit, and then you guys made a perception check to see if you could find someone a bit more up there.
Right.
I think and I think because everything was a bit chaotic, and that's part of the reason I went out and I did the prayer of healing to heal a bunch of people at once, so I could try and like slow things down, so we could actually get a good look at who was there. So you guys then found a head honcho type person that I think it was you, Zim, and Claymore went and had a chat with.
Yep, yeah, I remember that. And I remember just as we were heading in there, or trying to we're talking to the first person, one of the survivors there died. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
And Zim's now freshly embedded handstone sort of lit up and pulsed as we assume this person's NPC's soul was transferred into this stone.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a harrowing moment. Makes perfect sense with what we'd encountered with Zolgog, but doesn't bode well for what could happen in the future.
Yeah, that is worrying. That can't be good. Anything to do with, like, necromantic shit, it's not good. And there's a reason it's a frowned upon school of magic. There's a reason I haven't got Animate Dead in my school, in my spells that I can choose from. Because I'm like, no, because as soon as I start raising dead, I'm going to look super evil, and people aren't going to want to help us and shit. Like, there's a reason. It's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
It was an interesting moment. I think it really opened up the depth of what that stone could do. And we'll come to that in a second. once we got into this meeting room with let's just say the priests or something, whoever was there.
I don't remember that. I don't think we actually got their names. So.
We didn't get their name, I don't think. But they didn't seem like they wanted to give away too much information, and it took a lot of convincing still for them to start to cooperate.
Well, they had a little bit going on, you know. They've like half the city's been destroyed. I imagine
yeah.
Our shit's not more important than everyone else.
Oh, but it is. Of course it is.
We guys, aren't we?
Yeah. Of course we're more important than all these NPCs which don't exist. But it was a good, interesting bit of roleplay to try and convince them that they needed to do something about this and tell us and help us or guide us onto the next step. And with some of their help, we managed to figure out that, that Ren's soul was entwined with some evil. Ah, Leisure. Thanks for the sub.
Yeah. Woo! Thank you so much.
Rage on. And welcome. Ren's soul is entwined with this evil thing, which we kind of announced that it was this guy we encountered in the forest, I think, but the city doesn't know about it yet. The city is only aware of this thing happening overhead. And then Zim had just the wand inspected. I don't think Zim had his hand inspected. I think he kept that to himself.
Until the end. So like we learnt about the priestess did some magic on you, and learned that what was it? Something was up. You had two souls in the one body, sort of thing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so there's the dark soul and her soul kind of internally battling.
Which, you know, I'm sure is healthy.
Yeah. Again, what could possibly go wrong? There's so many opportunities for this whole... We could just walk down the street and just get TPK straight away. Like, anything that could go wrong probably will.
That would put the Zorgol problem to rest then. I assume if you die, the other soul within you dies as well, so...
Shit, I don't know.
Hey, I know what I'm doing next session.
Oh, mate.
For the greater good.
If you're going to kill anyone, it's going to be Zim.
Oh, yeah. Zim is really getting on Red's nerves. Yeah. He is. And he doesn't know yet that, like, during the discussion, found out about the crystal that it is, like, after a lot of bartering, that it was cast identify on the wand that it was like necromantic.
Mm-hmm. Something
to do with souls and stuff, which, yeah, Red doesn't know that yet, which is probably a good thing for Zim because, yeah, that's a big no-no for a cleric.
Oh, it's going to come out soon, right? Once we start asking questions about what does this wand do? How do we use this necromantic wand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So we left there with nothing but good news, I think. Although I think Zim was a little bit excited about this untapped power he was now wielding.
Oh, yeah. That's... Yeah, Zim, like, from what I've seen of Dave playing Zim is very curious, and he's going to use it and not think of the consequences of what's going to happen. And
yes, absolutely.
I have a bad feeling about that thing. I have a really bad feeling, but I have a plan.
Oh, good.
I have a plan. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong, right? I can just see, like, Zim pulling out this wand, waving it around, you know, some nasty shit going down. It just reminds me of Sexy Fireball all over again.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you know, doing something, not thinking of the consequences, and then people dying as a result of our actions.
He doesn't seem too fussed about saving people, though, does he? He's more for.
He really does not. I'm fairly certain that he's actually evil on the alignment scale. It would not surprise me.
Oh, it's so taboo. Come on, how can
Yeah,
it be evil?
Oh, he's definitely evil. He's definitely evil. I bet you he put his brother to sleep. Bet you he feeds on him like some sort of psychic vampire. Yeah.
Oh, and maybe this now gem is something that's going to help him, like, bring his dead brother back to life.
Oh, what if he brings his brother back, but it's not his brother, it's Zorgolg?
Oh, twist.
Oh!
Robin, hope you're not watching.
Right.
I reckon, though, I mean, we're probably getting a bit off topic here towards later in the chat, but I think that I'm really keen to see where Clay's backstory goes. So
I know, because
it could all tie together.
yeah, because he's also got a dark entity from his past as well.
Yep. Something kidnapped or killed his sister.
Yeah, I think it kidnapped his sister, very much like Fox Mulder
Yes.
in the X-Files. I think that's the joke that I made when I found out his backstory.
Yeah, definitely. But I reckon it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't want to say it because then it won't happen.
Yeah, just wait and see what magic Robin pulls out of his butt.
If Zorgolg and Clay's backstory are very connected.
Could be bro. Oh, you could be his long lost sister.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Wait, what race is Clay?
He's human.
Well, that wouldn't work then.
Oh, because you're an elf, not a. Are you a half elf or an elf?
Elf, full elf,
Full elf. Oh.
pure
Damn
blood
it.
elf.
Damn it! That would have been so cool.
Oh, I probably could still work out somehow. Just bring in the
Probably.
deities, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Robin. That's Robin's job.
Robin's
He can
job.
figure shit out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
magic.
Just magic. Yeah, exactly. That's his answer to everything. Because magic.
Because magic. Well, these new characters turn up because magic. It's fine.
Yeah. But then, coming out of that meeting, we hear the news that the dragon cage had been found. Kind of cool. Let's just go back to the Winchester, have a few pints, and wait for this all to blow over.
Pretty much. Like, it was very much like, hang on a second. Back up a sec. At what point did Bear get up and just sort of walk out to say, I've had enough of this?
When we got to the temple, as soon as we got there, he was like, "No, I'm going to go find the Zentarum."
But then,
Because
yep.
as soon as we got there, I was watching him and I was like, he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm going to go find the Zentarum," and nobody tried to stop him. So Rod was quiet throughout that entire thing, waiting for his moment.
No, good on him.
Yeah, so the cache has been found.
The cache has been found, which was, it was unexpected, but I guess reasonable given the whole city was torn to shreds, that the cache was found, which has me thinking, okay, let's wait for later for that. Yeah, the town crier came through saying dragon cache found, and what a weird piece of news to go and shout about. Don't you reckon? Like, who would have told this guy to go and shout about, hey, this 500,000 dragons was just found? But was it?
Exactly. Like, it was hidden, and you had to have a special thing to find it, but all of a sudden it's just magically found. That seems a bit too easy.
Yeah. Just because it was under a rock somewhere, and we uncovered it by blowing the city to shit, or the mech did.
The mech did, yeah.
It should be right
think
ours, damn it.
I know, right? And it is ours. We have the stone. It's ours.
Yeah. So Bear ran off, look of a Zentarum, trying to find a way to do what?
To find out anything else about the other eyes. And the Zentarum didn't seem to know much about it. Because the two clues that we have were the two people that we knew had the other eyes were Brecken Darth, which were connected to the Nimblerites on the ships for the reason that we had gone to the docks originally.
Yep.
And the family with the two children. like, we went down to the docks. I did my locate object, not there. Nowhere within 1,000 feet, so there's no idea where that thing is.
Shit.
So, yeah. I think the plan was we're going to go visit the family with the kids who were being held hostage.
Right, well, on that note of what's happening next, shall we pivot into some dungeon mastering conversation?
Sure, sounds good.
So, there's a lot of things that happen from a DM point of view. One of the things that I want to know about from you, Dan, is managing conflict within the party. Yeah, as a DM, or even as a player, when we start to get some friction between the characters, as we saw between, I guess, Clay and Ren for a short period there, but there is some mounting, I guess, tension definitely between Zim and Red. Zim doesn't seem to be thinking anything of it, but Red is definitely bearing a grudge. How do you play that as a character? And also, how do you manage that as a DM?
Yeah, so I've had this happen to me in home games and stuff, where my players, like, they start to get a bit antsy with each other because someone stole something from someone else, sort of thing. That's why I think it's great to have some NPCs that are close to the party to kind of act, if the party doesn't step up and try and, like, fizzle things out, like try and, de-escalate situations, you can then, as a dungeon master, have an NPC that's close to the party members, go and chat with them individually and try and, de-escalate the conflict in the party. Because all it takes is, like, a nasty word from one party member to another one, and all of a sudden there's fireballs being thrown across the room and shit. And especially because now we're level 5, we can do some damage to each other. And yeah, I don't think anything. Yeah, so I try to, like, if I sense it's going to be good for character growth, for, like, the player character's growth, I let it go on for a little bit. But if as soon as it starts to get, like, violent, I'm like, cool, let's try and break this up and stuff. Because I actually had a player character, something was stolen from him, and then when it was returned, he tried to kill the person who stole it from him. So I got I had two NPCs rush in to, like, de-escalate that and get him to, like, I can calm down, go cool down, walk it off, sort of thing, and then just, through role playing and stuff, talk about what's going on and, like, try and make them understand that they're all part of the same team.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that you need to create an NPC to come in and either be a mediator between the two parties or send the two people to therapy. In session.
Yeah, also,
in
you have the NPC. It's always fun to have an NPC with the party because it gives the DM also a plan to do a little bit of role play with the party. But you only have the NPC really intervene so much if the rest of the party doesn't doesn't try to resolve the conflicts without violence and stuff. Which, yeah, and because as the DM as well, because you're the rule master and stuff, the NPC is like the voice of God.
Yep.
Sort of thing. But you don't have to, like, I just like having an NPC with the party and having a chat and stuff with them. So I think in my Curse of Strahd game, it's like a little 10-year-old girl who doesn't fight or anything. She just helps them. But you don't have to have the NPC in there. I just use it because my party, they do a little bit of role play, but they're also good at the conflict resolution within the party.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Because every player has a massive ego. All the player characters have massive egos because they are pretty much, like, the best at what they do within the party.
That's really interesting, actually. I hadn't even thought of that. Thinking about our sessions and Red and Zim getting a bit, like you said, the tension brewing. I didn't even think about one of the player characters stepping in and trying to say, whoa. Because it's interesting to watch you guys, like, feud over things. As a player, I'm like, where will this go? Will they come to blows?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you go from being like playing a character to spectating from your character's point of view about what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so you've got would you say a 10-year-old girl that helps out at the party?
Yeah.
In Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like this 10-year-old girl would last very long.
But she does. She's very wily little thing. She knows how to keep safe and everything like that. And like as written and stuff, I made a couple of adjustments to her. So like I kind of like homebrewed her a little bit from like a normal child, because a child is technically a non-combatant within D&D. But it's like this party member. So I was like, okay, what can I do with this thing to make sure that they, aren't going to freaking die every single encounter? And I'm like, well, keep them away from the combat, do little things, so like use the help action and stuff to distract an enemy whilst the party's with it, so the party gets advantage sort of thing. But she has no actual attack capability. She doesn't have anything that can attack. So the party's trying to change that, but yeah.
So in combat, you're having this gopher run around, this 10-year-old girl run around and like do shit while there's demons flying around and ghouls and whatever else. This little girl has, stones of steel.
Oh yeah, she does. She's like the most badass out of all. Actually, no, not the most badass. The most badass is the werewolf dragonborn.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
sounds nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just looking at Legia's comment. The idea of protecting a little girl, but adopting the NPCs. That's an interesting comment, because didn't you adopt one of the player characters in one of our other campaigns?
I did adopt the player character. Yes. That was interesting.
And she was 5 years old?
5 years old. 5-year-old little tiefling who's a warlock. That was weird, considering like when I first met her, my character wanted to eat her character.
You were dragonborn, she was tiefling.
I was out lizard folk.
Lizard folk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you ended up adopting her in that campaign, our acquisitions campaign, but...
Yeah, I have no idea how I managed to pull that off, because I was the one that ended up being in like talking with the headmistress.
Yep.
And I was the person who had like no charisma.
Yep, you got it though. It was hilarious.
I got it. I was like...
Okay, so back to our question. You're looking at managing inter-party conflict through an NPC acting as a mediator if the party members themselves don't try and step in and resolve it.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that kind of thing take something which is typically resolved fairly quickly in your experience? Can it take a few sessions to work out? And to what point does it work out? Like, are you going to expect Red and Zim to end up on buddy terms again? Or is it going to be like a bit of a distance, just get the job done type thing?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like, because Red still respects Zim. He doesn't agree with what he's doing, but he knows that, he's his friend, he's a trusted ally. He knows that he can get shit done and he can help both himself and the party. So he's not going to like alienate him unless he's pushed to the point where he thinks the only thing he's going to be able to do is take a swing, which is what happened when, Bear surprised him and he took a swing at Bear because he was that worked up, which obviously didn't work out too well for Red.
Oh, there's always swings going on.
Yeah, so, but no, if he can work it out, but at the end of the day, like, they might not be the bestest of friends, because they have two very different outlooks on the way the world works.
It's like a mutual respect and understanding without enforcing opinions and force.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how a society is supposed to function, not yelling as loud as you can at the other side because they're wrong and not willing to budge on any standpoint. Through compromise, you can build and become better as a team and as a society, sort of thing.
Compromise. Okay, interesting. I am interested to see how this pans out for Red and Zim in upcoming sessions. I think it's going to come to a head soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but we actually had a quick question from Cronus today.
We did. Cronus from our Discord. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, which I'm interested to see, to talk about. And I'm interested to get, because you're doing your world building and stuff, I'm interested to see what your answer is to this question.
Let's have it.
So, you have a party of level 5 player characters. At what point do you think they should start facing a challenge rating 9 and above creatures?
All right, let me just get one thing straight. What you've just said to me, being only a player to date and only like 30 pages into the DMG, makes no friggin' sense at all.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
my world building, we can talk about that in a moment, but yeah. How would you set it up?
Okay, let's try to rephrase that. So a challenge rating 9 creature is something like a young blue dragon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not the toughest thing in the world, but pretty friggin' formidable. Versus a level 5 like our party, level 5 party. Would you think that was a good matchup? There's something with, usually over 150 hit points, with a weapon that could probably take out, with a breath weapon that can take out a party member like that on a failed save.
Yeah, no. I mean, even just thinking about could our level 5 characters take on a dragon of any age? Nah, hell no. I mean, it was a miracle that we managed to take down a beholder. That was just a pure luck roll.
That was because the DM gave us an overpowered weapon.
Yes, absolutely. I think half the time when I think about an encounter and these challenge ratings and party levels, I'd be thinking about what can this group of people practically do? Like, what kind of things can they carry out? And then what creature makes sense in the world at that time? And it'd be rare for it to make sense to drop, say, a young blue dragon on a bunch of level 5 party members, because they're not adventuring to that depth which they would encounter a dragon. Generally, they may go crazy and go straight for the heart of a dungeon, and I'm sure they would have encountered more things before that. But yeah, I think it's more about designing how this encounter fits the story. Doesn't make sense than trying to say balance the numbers on challenge ratings and number of players and levels and stuff. What do you think?
My thoughts are, I reckon, depending on the party size, they might have a decent chance with some assistance from the battlefield. Like, I wouldn't put them in a battlefield where it's literally one giant circle with one entrance and one exit, with the dragon just sitting there. I would have, if it was me, I would say, in the bowels of a sea cave, there's an ancient dwarven stronghold, disused for centuries because it's home to this young dragon who's begun to gather its wealth. Well, cool. Dwarves are builders. They make weapons and stuff like that. What would be a big enough spot where a dragon could have its hoard and be able to grow big enough? Well, possibly like a treasure room and stuff, but will the treasure room have its own inbuilt security system sort of thing, like giant ballistas or like magic traps and things like that the party could then utilize to be able to either destroy or escape from the creature?
Yes.
Because don't forget, like a dragon, you go into its hoard, you take anything, you're probably going to be hunted down for the rest of your life until you kill the dragon or it kills you.
So, word to the lower level characters is what? Encounter a dragon. Don't take shit. Just run. Run in the opposite direction. Wait till you've got some more experience. Come back and then consider having a crack at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't, like, if it was me and I took a look around, I want to know exactly everything that was going on in the room before I made a decision on whether or not to fight that creature.
I think you made a valid point there that you can't just be a big circle, creature in the middle, and entry and exit.
Yeah.
If you can make the environment work to the player's advantage or have opportunity to do so, then that's one thing, but then also balancing with what's the likelihood of those players and those characters picking up on those hints and those opportunities. That's a whole other thing altogether. You're going to have, a combination of people that either are just ready to swing and not ready to look for those helpful things like dropping things from the ceiling or whatever the case
Yeah.
might be. But yeah, so if we try to go back and just throw a number at this question, how would you balance a level 9 challenge rating? What level should that party be? What is a level 9 challenge rating? Let's just come back to that.
Yeah. I would go. I like to go just to make it challenging. I usually go 2 levels below. So level CR9 creature, maybe a level 7 party with about 5 players. Any less, they're probably gonna have a really difficult time and probably die. Any more, it might be a bit too much of an easy encounter.
Mm-hmm.
But at which point, I would just like when they were doing their perception checks and stuff like that, I'd up the DC of what they can notice within the room, like just fly. Yeah.
So
but I reckon level 7.
Level 7. So you think if the challenge rating's 9 for the creature, party should be 7 to take that on comfortably and make it for
5 people.
With 5 people, make it for an engaging encounter.
Yeah.
Okay. What if it was 4 people or 3 or 8? What are the numbers?
Yeah,
look like
8 people. 8 people. I would probably then have again with magic traps and stuff like that. I would have not so much lair effects because they don't really get that at younger ages, but I would have like little traps and stuff set out within the map because it is a dwarven stronghold. It is a treasure room. It's more than likely going to have a couple of little traps and stuff. So I would have a couple of those. I might up some of the damage from the traps and up the DCs, like the difficulty check for the traps. I wouldn't mod too much with the dragon because that can get a bit finicky and be a bit unbalanced. With 8 players. With less, I would probably make it, as soon as you walk into the room, I would describe everything. I'll be like, you walk into the room, you see the dragon horde, you see a sleeping bluish figure atop it, it's quite large. You see hanging from the ceiling a couple of chandeliers all darkened, covered in dust. You can barely, just with your torchlight, make out the silver gleam of 1, 2, 3 ballista perched up high, sort of thing. You see stairs running up to them and stuff like that. It would just go into trying to make it easy enough, drop little hints to people about what they could do. But I might give someone like a party all those hints. They might not go for any of it and just charge straight in. Because they're like, we got this, and then they'll very quickly figure out, no, you don't got this.
Sounds like a party I know. What happens if you get it wrong? What do you do? Let's say if you overbait the challenge rating and throw a challenge rating of 11 at a party of level 7s.
Yep.
How do you manage that? And equally, what if you underbake it and throw something that's too easy, which is supposed to be an impactful encounter?
Yeah, so what I would do then is, if it was too difficult, I might drop something in, as you're fighting it, you notice part of the cave wall begins to crumble on itself, and as you're watching, you see this little tunnel open up, and you see standing there a dwarf all in plate mail going, you fuckers, get in here! Try and rescue the party. If it was a one-shot, I might just TPK you guys.
Standard.
If I wanted to continue it on, I would probably have something like that happen. If it was too easy, well, dragons, they're worshipped by many different things like lizard folk, some dragonborn, kobolds and stuff, who may come in and leap to the defense of their master, their god, as it would, and attack the party members as well.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So there's definitely ways to get it wrong, but still make it right.
Exactly.
So as long as you guess somewhere that seems appropriate. What if you, would you ever, let's say you underbaked it, and you can see once things get moving that your creature is going to get completely obliterated in one round, would you up its hit points without saying anything, for example?
Possibly. I haven't had to do that. I like to introduce like little extra things,
I like
which
that better.
probably would just be super much easier for myself just to up the hit points. Like it would probably be much easier than adding extra things to the board to keep track of. But yeah, no, that's definitely a way you can do it. Yeah, and there are stories of like people out there as well who fudge dice rolls and be like, "Oh, this is this one start to hit." Like if you start rolling really bad, just being like, "Oh no, this hits because it's a 19. That's going to hit most characters," sort of thing. I don't like to do that. I like to fudge my dice rolls because that feels cheap.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I wouldn't fudge dice rolls.
But yeah, no, like upping the hit points much easier. Definitely do it. You're in there for a couple more rounds. It'll be very fun.
I like it. So you can do many things. You can add more creatures. You can add more damage from traps. You can create an escape route for another NPC turning up. You can up hit points to balance it out. Doesn't have to be just by the book, which is, I think, what you're trying to get at. There's so much flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about D&D. It gives you that room.
Absolutely. Cool. Hopefully that puts a pin in that one for Kronos, and he can take his level 9s to a party of 7.
In the Discord.
Something else I've been thinking about. Sorry, keep me with all these questions here, Dan, but this is
that's right. Because this part 2 is dungeon mastering, so yeah. I'm like, well, I can ask you, try and relate it back to you, but I don't know how. Yeah.
I'll get there one day. Today's not that day.
Yeah.
When we were in our last session, and a lot of the interactions and stuff started to revolve pretty well exclusively around Ren. Me as a player started to feel like, I wanted to make sure everyone else was still engaged and enjoying things and participating. Two-part question again. As a player, how did you guys find that? And as a DM, how do you make sure that you keep other people engaged when the session seems to be focused on a single character?
Yeah, I as a player character, I don't mind. I was like, Red Helm was doing his own thing. Like, I'm cool with watching what's going on and seeing the interactions and stuff between you and the NPCs and the other characters and stuff. I don't mind that too much. Suppress the ego for a bit, because you're not the only one playing. Not like when we first started playing together and everyone would just shout over each other. I do this. Yeah. It's just it's respect. Like I have my turn to do things. You guys have your turns to do things and stuff. Like, it's just about having respect for the other people in the party. Like, yeah. And it's interesting as well because I want to know what the hell's going on with everything. So I'm like, it gives me a chance to sit back and spectate and actually watch what's happening instead of thinking, being in combat, I've got to do this next round, I've got to do this next round, sort of thing. And as a DM, you're not always going to be able to cater to what's going on with every other character. You just got to hope that you've got a good team, a good group of people playing together who are going to respect each other enough that they'll be okay with someone else having a spotlight on them for a little bit, and then try and give opportunities for them to jump in at certain points, sort of thing. If they're able to, if they're in the room. If they're not in the room and they try to say something that, my character's doing this, I'm like, hey, cool. But if they try to interject, I'll be like, hey, you're not there. You can't jump in on what's going on because you're not there.
Fair point. I think that's great that everyone's got their respect. There is about, I think, their respect and the interest. I mean, I'm super excited to hear about how everyone else's backstory could possibly go.
Yeah, I know.
So I can't wait for that. I was surprised anyone to see Ren's backstory come to light at this point.
I know, right?
I want to ask a follow-up question on that. Like, as a DM, since we're in the DM section, have you ever had a player which is super reserved, and how do you bring them into the action or bring them into the story if they're not trying to say, my character does that, my character does this? How do you encourage that?
Yeah, so the way I do that, like if like, sometimes the other player characters will like get in, like start talking, like start role playing with them and stuff. If that doesn't work, or if that's not happening, I again use an NPC.
Mm-hmm.
So little girl, curious, wants to ask people questions because she's not seen, she's never seen a Dragonborn, she's never seen a Warforged or a Halfling or anything. Oh, excuse me, anything like that, or a Tabaxi. So she's going to ask questions about what they are, like try and get them, and then you can use that, and then usually, that helps them to open up a little bit, get into the role play, and then you can continue on, and they're a bit more involved in party role play, like discussions and stuff like that as well.
Do you, in your experience in doing that, is that something that you've almost feels like you've got to do every session to get them warmed up into the character?
Oh no,
no.
Once you get it's like anything. Like once you feel like you're confident in what you're doing, and you feel like you're not going to be judged by people, because we're all sitting here. At the end of the day, we're sitting here playing make believe, doing voices and shit. It looks fucking weird to anyone who's not used to it, and it can be a bit daunting the first time you ever do it. But once you get into your rhythm and you feel comfortable, you can do it. Just get straight back into it. Yeah, which is good. Yeah,
it's whenever I hear it's like, or even think about, I'm just playing make believe with a bunch of guys. It's like,
it's not really though. It's not. It's really different. It's not actually make believe. This is real life shit.
Real life. It's real stuff.
Like I trying to talk to someone about what, about Raging Rolls, and they're like, then this happened and this happened, and they're like, I don't get it.
You need to bring him into arena.
I know, right? I know, like my boss at work, he tuned into the fight with the goldfish, and he's like, the next day I saw him at work, and he's like, what was with the goldfish? Well, I would try and explain it to him in context with not too much information why we were fighting a goldfish.
That would have been a pretty interesting conversation to listen in on.
I'm pretty sure he didn't get half of it, but no, he was good sport. Like, it was not nice of him to ask the question. So yeah.
Good. All right, mate. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
Dantageous, and it's more about character. Have you ever played a wizard or a spellcaster in the past?
I played a bard, but
maybe that's a relatable thing.
That's yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around a few different things with relation to casters. Spell slots, known spells, learned spells, swapping things in and out, spell scrolls. What the hell, man? Because I know you can, let's say, for example, I'm just going to pick some numbers at random. Let's say level 5 wizard knows 7 spells and has 3 cantrips, 2 level 1s and 1 level 2, just to keep the numbers simple.
Yep.
Right. That means that cantrips level 1, level 2 is 6, spells known 7. Does that make sense?
No. Cantrips, you know them all the time. They're already known spells. They don't count towards this spell total because you've practiced them, and they're such a low level, you don't actually have to worry about preparing them because you don't actually change your cantrips. They stay the same. You just get extra ones.
Okay. Well, let's relate it back to my ranger then, to Ren.
Okay.
At level 5, which she is now, she knows 4 spells. Has 4 first level spell slots and 2 second level spell slots. That makes 6 to me. I'm just being the noob. I think I know how it works. Can you explain it for me?
So does it say spells known?
Spells known is 4. First level is 4. Second level is 2. Now, at first glance, I would think that the sum of first and second levels should equal the number of spells known.
No, that doesn't always work like that. No, you would get. Well, try to remember ranger. Jeez, I should know this. I played a freaking ranger for a bit.
Pick any class.
So the way that would work then is you have those spell slots, right? Spell slots can be any of those spells known. So say Hunter's Mark, it's first level spell slot. You wouldn't cast it at a higher level unless you had no other spell slots. So that's one known spell. But something higher level, like for a second level spell, you might learn 2 of those. So you've got those 2 second level spell slots ready to go. And then you might pick 1 or 2 other first level spell slots. first level spells, and then you can kind of like mix and match and go through them and test them out and stuff. But so theoretically, you could cast Hunter's Mark 4 times in a day, if needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I understand that. So I can have.
Yeah.
I know 4 spells. Whether it's, let's take the ones I've got at the moment, top of memory is Cure Wounds, Hunter's Mark, Zephyr Strike, Spike Growth.
Yeah.
Maybe one other thing. I can cast per day 4 level 1s. So like you said, I can cast the same one 4 times at level 1 and the same one twice at level 2, or any combination thereof.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. So, if we look at that whole thing from a wizard's perspective, then
Yep.
shit starts to get a little crazy, right?
That one's so many clerics, yeah.
So they have known cantrips. They've got first and level spells. But where does things like learned spells come into it, and being able to interchange spells on a long rest and spell scrolls?
Yeah. So wizards, like, they might start with a couple of spells, but the traditional way is they learn their spells either through finding a spell scroll and copying it into their spell book, or finding a spell book and copying those spells then into their spell book to learn that spell. It's a lot. It's arduous. It's a lot to keep track of, and in a campaign like Curse of Strahd, doesn't make a whole bunch of sense because you've got to use the special paper, wizard paper, and like ink and stuff to get those to copy the spells, and you just don't have that opportunity like something like Curse of Strahd. So I was just like, I talked to my wizard and I was like, you have a spell book? You can take time with it to decipher the notes that are within it to learn extra spells. But that's the way I worked it. Like, it's like in a cipher, and she has to break the cipher to learn a specific spell, sort of thing.
But the mechanics then work the same way. You still got spell slots, spells known.
Well, she already it's already in her spell book. She just has to break the cipher to learn the spell.
Right.
Instead of having to use gold to buy the paper, to buy the ink and everything like that, to get it into a spell book, I just made it much easier, less money, because there's not a lot of money flowing around in Barovia until like you get levels. Makes it much easier. But wizards don't. The only way they can learn those spells is by finding them within the game world.
Okay, so there's no limit to the number of spells they can know then. All it takes is time, paper, ink.
Yeah. If it doesn't say spells known, there's no limit to how many they can learn.
Wackadoo. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That makes them super powerful.
Discretion. Yeah, it's up to the DM's discretion.
Shit. But obviously takes a lot of time, and I haven't heard Zim say once that he's going to start copying spells or anything like that, so...
Yeah, exactly. But technically Zim, if he's like doing it like... So clerics, every long rest we can change our spells.
Yes, right.
And we know all the cleric spells of our level. So it's just like, cool, I like that one, I'll take that, and that. Whereas a wizard, if they're doing it like the traditional way, they can only really pick from the spells that they've learnt themselves. So like, he doesn't have Identify. He could. I don't know how Robin's playing it. I haven't asked him because I don't want to make a big fuss about it because we're a bit fast and loose with the components when it comes to
yes we are
spells. Yeah,
that's something else I was interested in, and I dug into a little bit more in the last couple of weeks, which is why I had Ren call out that I'm going to collect some sticks because that was one of the components she needed for something. But yeah, really interesting. I didn't know they had untapped spells. It just takes downtime and to specify, hey, I'm going to learn some spells now. Yeah. That's
and
cool.
It's expensive to learn. Excuse me. It's expensive to learn spells. It's 100. The paper and the ink is very expensive, and you have to find the specific store that sells that specific pages, because it's special paper. It's yeah. Like if you watch Critical Role season 2,
Which is why I'm
Yeah, mate,
asking
dude.
the question.
yeah, yeah. That's the way that Matt's running it. Matt Mercer's running it for Liam's character Caleb, where he has to go and buy the stuff, copy it into his spell book. That would, if I was a DM, that would just a lot to keep track of. I'm not there yet where I can just be like, cool, I can keep track of that, and also, not paid enough yet. Hey guys, sub. But yeah, yeah. But it just depends what you want to do with it. Like my personal thing, one of the things I do, if things have a monetary value, I do put a limit on the amount of times it can be done. So, like, find familiar. To reshape your familiar cost 100 gold pieces of incense. So I'm like, cool. A normal wizard or bard or whoever has the spell might have 300 gold worth of incense on them, maybe. So after 3 casts, cool. You might need to go buy some more incense.
Okay. Good.
Otherwise, people can abuse, and which happened to me, with my bard who made a cat, and he's cool. He's like, cool, I can do this too, and he turned into something else, and then something else, and then something else, and I'm like, cool. Now you can't do it because you've run out of your incense. Because, yeah, and it's the same with like Revivify, 300 gold piece diamonds. I think that plays very well into the game. So just being like, cool,
Yeah.
I just go up and bring this person back to life.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's more opportunity for us in Waterdeep to play the components piece up a bit more.
Yeah.
We may not get enough with the time pressure our characters are under. We may not have enough downtime to make that happen. So
Exactly. Speaking of,
let's transition into what we think is coming up in session 17,
I know.
which is not this Thursday. Following Thursday. We'll come back to what's happening this Thursday
following
in a moment.
Thursday, exactly. But those 2 kids, how like 2 days, isn't it? They have like 2 days left.
Yes, they're on death's door. I think. I think it's a lost cause.
We have to go visit the family, and we have to go kill a fucking demon.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
We killed Xanathar. We killed Zergol, Zordon, Zippy-Doo-Dah.
Wait. So you can't say Zorgog, but you can get Super Ultra Mega Dragon Zord. No worries.
Oh yes, Super Ultra Mega Dragon Zord, of course. I had to say it in the mirror so many times, to try and get it off clearly.
Yeah.
But yes, 2 days. So we have to go visit this family, the Von Trapps. I think is their name.
No, it's not. Castle
I'm sure it is.
Castle Lantern.
It's the Von Trapps.
It's not the Von Trapps. Close enough.
Close enough.
We have 2 kids, so let me just make sure that whoever's watching understands this. We have basically taken down half of Waterdeep's population to try and save 2 kids, and take 1,000,000 dragons and give half of it away. Doesn't add up anymore, does it?
It really doesn't. That's what I said. Kill the demon.
Kill the demon. Take the money.
Kill the demon, guys.
Forget the kids.
Wait. When can I learn? Robin's not watching this. Robin, if you're watching this, you have to tell me. When can I learn banishment?
Just like we win.
Yeah, just walk in there. Hey, dude, fuck you. Banish him, and then wait a minute. Cool, you're not from this plane. You're fucked. Bye.
Yeah. Oh man. 2 days.
Level 4. Okay. Level 4.
That's a ways off.
Yeah.
2 days left. We're still going to find the gold.
And the 2, and possibly the two eyes as well.
2 eyes. But okay, so we know the dragon cache has been uncovered. This is my question. The purpose of the Stone of Golora and the eyes was to locate the dragon cache.
Yeah.
It's been found. Why are we still do you think we still even need to hunt the extra eyes, or we just go, let's go find the clues?
Well, we didn't get a clear answer from Robin about if, now that it's been found, if the stone will still find it when it's all put together.
Mm-hmm. There's something we do need to find out for sure, because we've only got 2 days left, and to find two stones, plus the actual gold itself, plus all the bullshit that's happening, not bullshit, plus all the other stuff that's happening right now as well. 2 days, man. These kids are toast.
Yep. So I think our focus definitely has to be on trying to get to these kids, maybe stealthily. Oh, I know, because they're under a trance, aren't they?
Yes.
They're under a trance, so he technically already has their souls, and he'll only return them if the ransom is paid.
Yes. What does a demon need with money?
I know, right?
So many unknowns.
You know what we'll do? We'll just shove his soul into your soul as well.
Why not? Make it a party.
Exactly. Done.
I say 2's company and 3's a party. Bring it on.
Exactly. Everyone partying. Oh, nope, not going to finish that sentence. Nope.
Nope. What do you think we'll find if we go for figure out? Look at this, the where the dragon cache was discovered. Empty, cracked
Big
open.
hole in the ground. Did we actually end up there or not?
I don't think so. I think we're making our way there, but
Making our way. No.
There's no one. There's nothing there. It's gone. It's empty.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. It's a big hole in the ground.
So we've got to find something.
My thinking is it's one of two. One of the other people with the eyes, Brecken Darth, or these Von Traps.
Yeah, Von Traps. Or Saraya's dragons, parents. I
don't know.
didn't say that. Are we live?
Are we streaming? No, I don't think it would be them. They seemed a bit more altruistic than the other people that we've come across.
Yeah,
I
that
reckon
was
it's
evident
Von
by
Traps
their
or Brecken Darth has it.
Okay.
Has the cash. Cash.
Whatever. Tomato.
Cash be inside. How about that?
Okay. So we find any evidence. We don't think it's a big bad. We don't think it's this demon that's just gone like, well, there's the gold. I'm going after it. We think it's one of these groups.
He seems very much like, I'm sure if he wanted to, he could find it. He could have found it, but I think it's one of the two groups.
Okay, we shall see. I wonder if Bear can use his
Xanathar
connections.
Jr.
Yeah, I wonder if Bear can use his connections with the Zentarum to try and find out anything about that. Doesn't seem like he got much traction.
Yeah, I know, they didn't seem to know too much, and they talk really rough. Like they weren't talking to each other, and I was sitting there like, are they friends? Are they gonna kill each other?
It wasn't a friendly conversation.
No, it didn't seem like it, but they seem to part amicably. So yeah. So we'll go investigate the scene, find out what we find out, because we know that the other eye is no longer at the dock. So
there goes that breadcrumb.
Yeah. Which I think, might bring us to our final thing for tonight. Are we the bad guys?
Well, let's recap. We got together. We did a good thing and took down one of the Underworld's head honchos, the Xanathar. We invited an army of orcs. Yeah, we had a crack at taking those guys down. So far, I think we're doing the right thing. We set half the town on fire.
Murdered 3 people, including a baby.
Murdered 3 people. But we brought half of them back to life. That's good. Yeah, I'm still 50-50.
Actually, no. We brought 2/3 of them back to life.
Okay. Good call. We're good. Still positive. Now, let's think about the city destruction. That wasn't us.
Technically, it wasn't us. It was us as the player character, as the players, but it wasn't us as the player characters.
Nope. It was, I forget that witch's name, but some mage from one of the factions, one of the groups. So that was not on us.
No.
So all Of course, we can't be the bad guys. We can try and fill the space vacuum that Xanathar left. I think that's an opportunity for sure. Imagine setting
For us
up
to become the bad guys.
Yeah, the Winchester is like the headquarters of the underground. I don't know if it's quite where our stories will end up, but it's definitely a possibility. What do you think?
I don't know. I think the party. Like the party doesn't like a lot of the party doesn't seem too phased with what's happening in the city, with all the death and destruction and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Claymore was the only other person besides Red Helm who's gone and like when we got to the temple and trying to help a little bit.
Priests and clerics, mate. They're too altruistic.
Yeah. Everyone else is kind of like, cool, my shit's more important. Hey, who's in charge here? I want to speak to the manager. The rest of you all a bunch of Karens.
Yep, that sounds about right. We are a bunch of water hobos, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about like Soraya and Steve because we haven't seen them for a little bit. I think they're seeing each other, but that's just headcanon.
Yeah, they might turn up again. Maybe turn up again in a week or two.
Yeah.
We'll see. So we'll find out.
Yeah, no. So, but yeah, no. I think if we get a chance, we have like 48 hours before shit goes down. So I don't know if we're gonna get enough chance to like actually sit down and have a chat with one another. So
we have no time for downtime to like have those conversations. All right, it's just gonna be go go go.
Yeah, it's more of a once things settle down that we can actually sit down and talk about things. Because we have a pretty good chat. Everyone seems, we're there for a reason, and we're looking for things that are very personal to each other. But like we've all agreed to help one another. But I don't know. I think it's kind of skewing more towards the chaotic neutral. And Red Helm, I don't think he's chaotic neutral anymore.
Oh shit!
Yeah, no, he's been skewing more towards the lawful spectrum. Yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah. See what happens.
But then, so that's in 2 weeks' time. This Thursday, we have our spooky Halloween one-shot.
Spooktober.
We don't know as players, I don't think anything about what's in store for us this week.
No.
No,
we don't.
Have you started making a character yet?
I have a character idea in my head. I just haven't written him down on the paper yet or anything like that. I'm definitely gonna be I might test out my character for the homebrew world.
Oh yes.
See if I like him. I think I might. Little arcane trickster rogue.
Very cool. I thought about doing something similar. I'm not convinced yet because I think that as a group of players, we need to make sure we have a coherent party before we set into this one shot. Otherwise, it could be very brief. Because we always charge into these things with just all the great axes and all the fireballs and zero the healing.
Yeah, I know, right? It'll be interesting to see if anyone actually does go healer.
Well, in a one-shot, it just doesn't seem super appealing though, does it? Because you got one chance and you want to go just create havoc and damage. But it's tough, right? Like, how do you make that decision?
It's a spooky one, so I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of investigation, less combat. It's a battle arena.
You're right, and it's not a battle arena. Spooky one-shot. Interesting. Haven't thought about it. I might go something completely left field, some other racing class I've just not tried before in any arena or anything. Could be a random. We'll see. But
it's always fun.
I am still tempted to use my half-orc barbarian. See how that goes.
Bring him back, yeah. Unfortunately, Greg is consigned to the Annals of History. He's never coming back, unfortunately.
Who? I forgot.
Greg.
Greg.
Hey, baby.
Oh, right. Greg the Yogi
Yeah, he's
Bear.
never coming back. That was painful to try and do for an entire session. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And then, so we don't know what's happening in Spooky One Shot. I'm intrigued to see where DM of Doom Robin is going to take it.
I know, right?
We
It's going to be something nasty. Knowing him, it's going to be something nasty and disgusting.
I hope so. I hope it's just, yeah.
I know. We've seen ghouls, we've seen banshees. You know, you've got hags, you've got we've seen vampires, but we haven't seen spooky vampires. We haven't seen. There are a number of disgusting, spooky, creepy things in D&D lore. There's a few of my favorites. What are they called? The Empty. I think the Empty.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty spooky. You've got things like Deathlocks. You've got undead versions of Warlocks. You've got these things called Steel Predators that literally look like the alien from Alien.
Right. Excellent.
But they're made of steel.
Sounds good.
There are these things that are invisible to anyone but children. Called Skulks.
Shit.
They are cool. Yeah. No, there are a bunch of nasty shit out there. I can't go through all of them because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm excited. I don't think we've done one of these yet because we weren't playing last Halloween, so this would be cool to see.
No,
how
we
this
weren't.
goes.
We didn't start in December last year, so
Yeah, and then before that, so tomorrow night we have
our
yeah.
community battle arena.
I'm so excited for that. I'm so keen to see how the community, the rages in Discord
I know.
go down.
That will be. It's going to be insane. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, much hype.
Legia's in there. Legia's in there. It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Leisure will be in there. Yeah. Oh,
Hopefully it's
that's
not
gonna
an
be
unreasonable time, but I'm sure you can.
yeah.
We can take bets if you want.
I'm not a betting man, but bet that Ember will definitely survive.
He has to survive. He's an epic character. He's in all of Legia's campaigns, I think. He can't not survive.
Yeah. And so that's starting tomorrow night at 8:30.
8:30 p.m. tomorrow night, right here. Same channel, same all the things. We'll keep everyone posted on all the socials to make sure that everyone's across it. But I'm excited. It's going to be awesome.
I am super excited. But on that note, thanks for having a chat with me tonight, Jeremy.
No, thanks, Dave.
I've missed out on the last couple of after shows and raging recaps, so I'm happy to be able to sit back and chew the fat, as it were, on what's been happening, because this game is awesome. It's like the highlight of the week.
I agree. It's so good being able to chat with people about it, chat with yourself about it, and the rest of the crew and our awesome community. It's good fun. It's great fun.
Yeah. And thank you for everyone watching for joining. As Bill and Ted say, don't forget to be excellent to one another. And hey, some of us will see you tomorrow night. The rest of us will see you on Thursday. But until then, stay awesome. I haven't figured out a finish line yet. Stay awesome.
Well, how about rage, roll, but don't worry about traps.
Never check for traps.
Never check for traps.
check for
Just
traps.
rage on.
Okay. Rage on. Rage on. Rage on, guys.
Rage on. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye. Sorry, we're right back, right here. I forgot. I did say to someone else before we're going to raid them. Friends of ours in the community, which hopefully they're still playing. Yes, Fate's Grip. Let's go ahead and raid Fate's Grip. a great
Went
bunch
back,
of
looking back. There we go.
great bunch of other Australian D&D players. I spell their name right.
Are you ready to rage?
Yeah, they're currently in session right now. They're playing episode 37 of what? What are they playing? The Lost. It's cool. They're one of the few sessions, streams, which are currently in real life. They'll get together, hang out, have a few drinks, and play in real life. They sound like they're playing a complete homebrew world. Nothing but jealousy right there.
I want to do that so bad. That'll be so good.
But yeah, we'll raid them now, and make sure you give them all the emotes, all the love, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.